Well, finally, Thor: Love and Thunder has finally hit theaters. Everybody, welcome back to the channel once again. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button. I heard going into this movie that it's going to be basically everything we saw from Thor Ragnarok dialed up a little bit more. So if you're not into that Thor Ragnarok humor, this movie's not going to really appeal to you all that much. Now, me, I can only say for myself, I mean, it was nowhere near as good as Thor Ragnarok, but at the same time, it's nowhere near as bad as Thor Dark World. So it's like sort of like right in the middle there. It's sort of like in limbo, in my opinion. I thought a lot of the jokes, for me personally, didn't really work. Like, everybody was hyping this thing up to be like one of the best comedies ever, and I was like, it didn't really hit with me all that much. A lot of the jokes, I thought the screaming goats were like hilarious, but even a lot of the Korg stuff just really didn't hit with me like it did in Thor Ragnarok. And a lot of the jokes they also replayed from the previous movie too. So if you've seen Thor Ragnarok and you've seen this movie, then all I have to say is, like, Matt Damon, you guys kind of get what I'm saying. They kind of redo that same joke over again. The movie fell flat on a lot of the humor. Now, the main part of this movie was the Jane Foster stuff, and I'm glad that we finally got some closure to that story with Jane Foster and Thor and their relationship. And the Jane Foster stuff is very, very emotional, very, very touching. And for me personally, it hit me a little bit harder watching this movie because currently my mother is in the hospital with the final stages of lung cancer that moved to her lungs. So I'm dealing with coming right out of the hospital today of seeing my mom like at her weakest and worst right now, trying to fight this cancer. And I'm watching a movie with a character fighting the same thing. For me, it hit a little differently. I thought the Thor and Jane stuff worked very, very well. Overall, I left it and I was like, it was okay. It was decent. Like, I don't think it's the greatest thing ever, and I don't think it's the worst thing ever. It was a nice movie to go out, relax, and have some dinner and watch this movie and enjoy the movie. Some of the jokes worked, some of the jokes didn't. The Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, like I thought from the trailer that it was going to be very minimal, and it was very minimal. Like I said, a lot of the jokes didn't work for me. I think the main standout for this film and the biggest positive of this film is, of course, none other than the great Christian Bale, former Oscar winner. Just Christian Bale brings it every single time. Doesn't matter if he's Batman, doesn't matter if it's Ford versus Ferrari, Vice, it doesn't matter. This guy brings it every single time. Christian Bale is absolutely a standout in this movie, and he brings it once again. And I absolutely loved Gore the God Butcher. Where the movie fell flat for me with Gore the God Butcher is, and I noticed that Marvel has been doing this a lot lately, where the villains aren't really the villains. Like, the villains all are just misunderstood. Things happen to them and we have to feel sorry for them, and villains aren't just villains anymore. They're redeemable and all this stuff, and I know that's sort of what the new regime of Disney's trying to do, that villains aren't just villains now, that they're just misunderstood. They've done it with a few other Marvel movies, like if you've seen Eternals, Icarus, I mean, it's been going on. Like Shang-Chi, his father, he's just misunderstood. Like basically every movie in Phase 4 has been, the villains are just misunderstood villains, misguided villains, or they're doing this with a purpose and they're redeemed at the end. And I feel like you take something away, like when you do that to these villains. Thanos still believed what he was doing was right, and he did not care, right? He committed genocide on half the universe and did not care. And now in Phase 4, it's like, oh, all these villains are just now Disney villains. They're just Disney villains that are misunderstood, misguided, but they can be redeemed later on. And I thought they dropped the ball with that, and it's really a concern I have for Phase 4 in general. I thought Thor Ragnarok was a much better film because, at least with Thor Ragnarok, you had the Hulk and Loki to really kind of bounce stuff off of. You had Hulk that was the muscle, and Thor, although he was very comedic in that previous movie, when it was time to throw down, Thor threw down, and that movie was very, very dark. He was dealing with a lot, and even at the end, he became the rightful king of Asgard. And I feel like all that heart that was in Thor Ragnarok was just taken away for one-liners. And it was just like one-line jokes, one-line jokes, one-line jokes, screaming goats, which was hilarious at some point. But I felt like that was like they went more deep into the humor, and if you're not down with that, you're not going to enjoy this movie. The problem I had was I was okay with that. I went in knowing I was going to get that because I seen what people were saying, that this is going to be very, very humor heavy, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to walk into this. What do you guys have? And me personally, the jokes fell flat to me. I was like, oh yeah, some of the things are funny, but like I literally did not bust like my gut laughing at all. Like some of the stuff I chuckled. I was like, ha, ha, ha. The goats the goats are screaming, ha, 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 and that was pretty much it. The emotional parts worked. The comedy was sort of hit and miss. I wish there was more action like there was in Thor Ragnarok, and I wish Taika Waititi didn't recycle so many of the things that he did in the previous movie, especially with recycling jokes. I wish they would have made Thor the badass that Thor actually is. It's okay to give him different layers, and I love Chris Hemsworth when he does the comedy bit as Thor, but when Thor was getting ready to lay down, I want to see Thor lay the fuck down. And to me, I felt like he was kind of overshadowed, and we didn't really get to see that lay down Thor that was like, bring me Thanos. You know, we didn't get to see that Thor. And I do think with the missing addition of Tom Hiddleston as Loki, this is the first Thor movie without Loki, and you kind of feel it, right? I didn't think I was going to feel it, but you kind of feel it. I missed the chemistry between Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, and I really, really felt that. Tessa Thompson, absolutely amazing. Like she's beautiful, she's awesome, she kicks ass. I really like Valkyrie. I've always liked Tessa Thompson, been a massive fan of Tessa Thompson, and I thought she was really, really awesome. So I thought all the actors pretty much did their job very well. It's just the way the movie was laid out, the presentation. I thought the cancer story was very touching. I thought it had a lot of emotion. I thought the jokes were just kind of hit and miss, and the action, it was kind of lacking in my personal opinion. And I really didn't like the direction they took Gore the God Butcher. And that's just pretty much my opinion. I thought the post-credit scene was very lackluster. I heard, oh my God, you gotta see this post-credit scene. I seen it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now. I don't care. So that's pretty much my opinion on the movie. To give it a final score, I would say Thor Love and Thunder is a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's a slightly better than average movie, but it's still not a movie that I would say, hey, go check this thing out, pay full price. I would definitely tell you, if you are a fan, but you're on the fence, just wait for Disney Plus. That's my main suggestion to you guys. So I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. I would say wait for Disney Plus if you're not in a hurry to go see this movie. And that's pretty much my review of Thor Love and Thunder, guys. What did you guys think of the movie? Have you seen it? What are some of your thoughts on the movie? Be sure to leave those comments in the comment box below. Smash that like and subscribe button, guys. And until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms. And don't forget to scream and go.